Hey, Pamela. How you doing, love? Hey, Cassie. 5-on-1 light. Guys, the one sitting in the back, uh, if you don't mind, at least hit the like button. Oh, my goodness, Pamela. It's crazy, ain't it? Maybe you can get it fixed pretty soon. Fuel pump. Well, that's about $160, probably.
Into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. She got a call before the masked man showed up at her door, before the blood on the porch, before the FBI. We are getting some breaking news in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. We are getting some breaking news in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. She got a call before the masked man showed up at her door, before the blood on the porch, before the FBI, before the ransom notes, before any of this became a national story. Nancy Guthrie received a call. And according to our own independent investigation, she never told anyone. Now ask yourself one question. What was said on that call that made an 84-year-old woman stay completely silent? That is what we are here to find out today. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at this.
I don't believe that either. Elderly woman like her, if they would have been a phone call to her with any type of anger toward her or anything that would have made her worry, there's no way she's just gonna go home, put her night clothes on, sit down and watch TV, or put her night clothes on and go to bed. Not someone like her. And done heard that she was, on the couch, and then the struggle started, I think, in the kitchen or the den area. I don't know. But if she had a phone call, now listen to this again, she would have had a phone call. Why wouldn't that have been mentioned? Hey, Lisa, if FBI can't get in there and do anything about it, why was the police not reporting it?
We are getting some breaking news in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. She got a call before the masked man showed up at her door, before the blood on the porch, before the FBI, before the ransom notes, before any of this became a national story, Nancy Guthrie received a call. And according to our own independent investigation, she never told anyone. Now ask yourself one.
All right. He said minutes. Now, this is me. This is the way I catch things. I listen to how something is said instead of just what's being said. Just minutes before the call or she miss whatever. Just minutes before she had a phone call. Well, if that was so, they would have been able to see what number pinged at that very time. They would have been able to caught her phone on ping. If anything at all, somebody that had got hired to do this was just making a phone call to make sure she was at home. But with them saying within just minutes of it, and people say that they think that they've seen the sheriff's vehicle sitting there watching the home, he would be the only one that would have noticed if somebody went in and came out. So yeah, there's something strange about that sheriff or deputy or whoever the hell it is. But the truth behind Nancy is going to be, and I'm just going to put it out there, it's going to be him, her daughter, Savannah, and probably a couple of other people knew that this was fixing to go on. Now, where if they believed it or not, I don't know. That's why it comes such a shock to them. But it's too obvious. Now, he just got through saying within minutes, here, babe, uh, within minutes, listen to that again.
We are getting some breaking news in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. She got a call before the masked man showed up at her door, before the blood on the porch, before the FBI, before the ransom notes, before any of this became a national story. Nancy Guthrie received a call. And according to our own
Okay. So if they checked her phone and had found out where the party that called, where it pinged from, I would have believed it's probably right out into her drive, uh, where somebody was sitting and watching. Um, I believe they were probably 3 or 4 people handy by just in case they needed help. Before the blood, before um, uh, some other things, I forget now. Um, but anyway, in the meantime of all that going on, with a matter of minutes, she receives a call. Now, what's she gonna do? They gonna stop doing what they're doing to her and let her answer the phone?
We are getting some breaking news in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. She got a call before the masked man showed up at her door, before the blood on the porch, before the FBI, before the ransom notes, before any of this became a national story. Nancy Guthrie received a call. And according to our own independent investigation, she never told anyone. Now ask yourself one question.
Okay, if she got kidnapped, if she got killed right then, how is she supposed to call and report it? Try to make that make sense. That dog won't hunt, and they can't nobody say that that is correct. Before the FBI, before the blood, um, this inside job, like I said, is family oriented. There were some people paid off to keep it hush hush and to be there in case he needed help. Uh, yeah, Pamela, that's exactly what I'm saying. And that's what I believe. Um, but yet they've not released what the phone calls situations were about. That's what I'm trying to say. How's she gonna make a phone call and report it if she's deceased? How's she gonna call and report it if she's getting abducted at the time? Uh, she does. We've heard that she's done. Got knocked down and knocked out, hurt her knee and her arm, and then her ankle. What they gonna do? Say, well, let's just wait a minute. Let you call the police and tell them you're getting robbed. See how stupid that is? Hey, Mimi. Bless you, love. Y'all throw out a prayer for Mimi. Uh, and sometime, Mimi, don't forget now to send me some of that info uh, that we was talking about the other day, and I'll do that for you. So before the blood, before FBI, but they don't say before the county or city police. They left that part out. Blood, FBI, they didn't say nothing about the other not being involved. Caleb, anytime. Got you there, Alice.
What was said on that call that made an 84-year-old woman stay completely silent? That is what we are here to find out today. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at this case the same way again. Every major news outlet has covered this case. NBC, CNN, Fox News, ABC. They showed you the doorbell footage. They showed you the masked man. They showed you Savannah Guthrie crying on Instagram. But not one of them, not a single outlet, has talked about what happened before February 1st. What happened in the days leading up to the night.
Oh, so during the robbery, I guess she was on Snapchat crying, while she's getting drug out of the house. Hell, they really ain't nobody telling anything. I mean, they get to a good spot and then they just cut it off. That won't work.
Nancy knew, what Nancy felt, and what Nancy chose not to say. That is the story nobody is telling until now. Stay with us because what comes next is the piece of this puzzle that changes everything. To understand why this call matters, you need to understand who Nancy Guthrie is. 84 years old, Tucson, Arizona. Lived in the same neighborhood for over 50 years. Deep faith. church every Sunday without fail. Mother of NBC Today show host Savannah Guthrie. But here's what people miss about Nancy. She was sharp. She was aware. She was not the kind of woman who panicked over nothing. Her neighbors knew her as warm, grounded, observant. She noticed things. She reported things. In fact, on a fall in her next door neighborhood app, she once posted a warning to her entire community. A package had been stolen from her front door. Her exact words, mail thieves. Package stolen from front door yesterday. Be alert. She noticed a crime. She told her neighbors immediately. So when something truly frightened this woman of us and she said nothing, that silence means everything. Now, here is what our investigation uncovered. In the period before Nancy Guthrie vanished, she received a call, not a normal call. According to sources connected to this case, that call left Nancy visibly shaken. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. A woman who had lived alone for decades, a woman who had survived the sudden death of her husband, like a woman who...
And somebody that observed her every move. Know what she did.
Who had raised her children by...
When she come in of an evening, did her thing, whatever she want to do, knowed every move she made.
Herself and built a life in a city she called home for 50 years. This woman was shaken. What do you say to someone like that to make them afraid? What kind of demand or what kind of threat do you make to an 84-year-old grandmother that leaves her silent and scared? That is the question at the center of our investigation.
Who's to say she hadn't said anything? Where's the proof that she even got a phone call? We've heard so many lies, how do we know? How do we know any of this is true? The only thing that I've been doing is listening to the voice that I've not been hearing. And she continues to speak about this matter. And I'm like you. Yeah, they probably made it look like a robbery. We heard yesterday, that her jewelry was gone, her watch, and all this. They had to make it look like something, but they too stupid to, really pull it off too good. But then again, with DNA popping up with his blood, and nobody doing nothing about it. That day right there is a paid off deal. Yeah, and I'm not putting it past Savannah either. And the reason I'm saying that is, and the only reason I'm saying it, I think that she knew that her sister was so jealous that at some point or another, or if it was a Thanksgiving or whatever, where maybe had a family meetup, and she heard it, but she didn't ever think anybody would ever go through with it. Why wouldn't she have said something ahead of time to prevent this? I'm telling you, Savannah don't wear no halo. I don't give a damn who says what. But they are a lot of people, anywhere from 4 to 5, that know everything that was going to happen. And there's probably 2 or 3 that didn't even want to know when it happened. But now they know. The truth behind Nancy Guthrie is for her to speak and tell her own story, because the people that did this is a coward, self-righteous, conniving, 110 times percent jealous and was only out for money. You too, Kathy. Be careful. Uh, and yeah, I believe that the word got out uh, to a sheriff or deputy, whoever it was, and they already told right off the top, "Hey, Reese, yeah, I jumped on about 21 and a half minutes ago. Uh, that they was that a car sitting around watching the place, trying to keep it surveillanced. Um, if Nancy would have got scared about something, everything would happen so fast to her. She wouldn't have had time to do anything really. But if she fought back, maybe not knocked the piss out of somebody, she could have tried to dial 911, and even if she's not holding the phone, they can still hear from the background. And then when the dispatch starts talking, well, then whoever, like if it was a police officer or somebody, it would have come across their scanner in their car. And then that would have been the signal, hey, better get in here and help. I, I, I keep everything open because, you know, anything could have happened. But I'm only going to trust the word from the voice that is new to me, that is telling things about her own case. And that's it. So if people want to hear the truth behind Nancy Guthrie, put some earbuds in and sit back and listen. That's that's the only thing I know. No, I wouldn't trust none of them, Pamela. None of them.
And here is the part that will keep you up at night. She never reported it. She never called her daughter. She never called the police. She never posted on Nextdoor. She never told a single person what was said. She stayed silent. And days later, she was gone. Now, what exact
Days later, she was gone. Again, why is the FBI, the county sheriff there, or city sheriff, not producing all information that whoever the call came from, they could simply go and get that person? If I called Risa right now and she run down the road and called and said, hey, so and so kidnapped me, they would see that I'm the last person that talked to her. It's not rocket scientists. They know who did it. And the truth is within the family. And I'm going to say this again. The truth behind Nancy Guthrie lies within the family. And I'm going to tell you why. The other day, I turned the spirit box on and I didn't even have it on the normal. I was running the huff. The very first thing that was said was, for the death of Nancy, a family secret. Okay. So, regardless, someone made that statement. You can't unhear it. You can't mistake what they said because they said it so loud and clear. We didn't even have to backtrack to hear it. Then went on to say, I know they killed Nancy. So Nancy had a loved one that's already deceased and seen what went on. Said that they got caught, I guess, whenever they were getting interrogated for a little while. Uh, Said that no, I believe this was Nancy did get robbed for money. One with a gun. Yes, correct. Probably a cop. Um, believe it broke my ankle. Fell on the floor. Um, Robbed for money. Okay. And when she says anything, she's saying the word they, not he or her, they. I believe so. I believe so. I, don't- I think Savannah wants to stay in the good light and just keep on with this thing, and she's going to keep it rolling if she has to keep it rolling for the rest of her life because they don't want it to fall back on her because she's a public eye. Well, I wouldn't give a damn if you, my mom, dad, sister, daughter, whoever. Someone killed my mom, I wouldn't give a damn who you are. I would report it. And I would report whoever I thought knew about it. And I believe, and I don't care if Savannah and them like it or don't like it. Worse things happen every day from people that you would not expect it to happen from. So if they try to rule her out, they're about dumb and dirt in to begin with. But she keeps up that image. Pay attention to her when you see her. One minute she'll be sad looking, but no tears. And then a little bit she's smiling, talking, having a conversation with somebody. Next thing you know, she's whining around again. No tears. And I know for a fact, for a living fact, when they said family secret, that meant the majority of that family. And I believe with everything in me that was Nancy saying it. And then how do you correct when she says, yes, correct, probably a cop? Yeah, they got skeletons in the closet, but they're not. They're looking at the right ones, but they still got one or two that they need to shake the limbs off of a little bit. Hey, Judy, because a lot more people in that family know more than what is being told. Now, I'm sure there's a lot that don't know, and a lot that, like I said, didn't think that it would ever happen. But now that it did happen and you have not reported it, that makes you an accessory to murder. Um, and I think if Savannah got scared enough and said, hey, we got to do an interview with everybody in the family because it's been talked about that all this is a family secret and get her kind of nervy up and really start putting some pressure on her, I think she would crack. Of course, she's going to blame it on her sister and her old man, but still, she would be accessory because I believe she knowed about it. This ain't something they conjured up in a day or two. You know, flip no. But they went about it so stupid. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, something to hide. That's right, and that's why all the photos, and even when you see live broadcasts with Savannah, she'll put on a sad face, but that's all you get. Okay. Mm-mm. No, that dog won't hunt. And like I said, I can't help it if they like it or don't like it. I speak my opinion. Everybody's got one, and I'm speaking mine. And they don't need to just interrogate a couple people. They need to interrogate the most closest relatives that she had, and I mean really put the heat on. Because if it was come out that Savannah has heard about it but didn't mention it, it's gonna make that company up there look very, very bad. Um, Could happen. Could happen. Yeah.
Was demanded on that call. We are not revealing that detail today, not because we don't know, but because that specific piece of information is still being actively looked into.
So a phone call is being actively looked into. Actively. I think you can listen to a phone call in a matter of 10, 15 seconds and know what somebody's saying. They think people stupid. That's all this stuff. With the kids and with everybody else. You know, now a granny's gone and vanished. When FBI, when regular police, county, city, state, whatever, why not? Now I'm just saying, why not? Because you've not been getting any information from the public or anywhere else. Why not take one chance out of your life to listen to something spiritual that you can get some information from? I mean, and then they claim that they'll, take every type uh, notification of anything that's relevant to the case. They'll look into it. That's a damn lie. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. How come you think Summer's still living where she's at? What was there? Because people will not step up and say, okay, let's just give this a shot. It's ignorant. Like I said, I don't care if it's a baby. I don't care if it's a little young child. I don't care if it's a teen. I don't care if it's a adult, granny, grandpa. They all deserve to be allowed to tell their story in any way they want to. So there's people out there that would recognize what's being said and from who, that could identify it. And we can't make this stuff up. We're here on live footage. What you see, what you hear, that's all you get. Daggone it. Yeah, it should be taped off and boarded up and everything else. Nobody go in, nobody go out. But they don't let everybody do that. It wouldn't pay them for nothing to walk back in that house and try to find any damn thing. They knew what they were doing when they did it. Yes, Judy. That's what I was telling everybody for the last 2-3 days. The obvious is sticking out like a sore thumb. If somebody would just quit throwing a deaf ear and listen to something spiritually, they could find the truth behind Nancy Guthrie. Well,
and we will not rush a story this serious. What I will
we will not rush a story that this is that important. I guarantee you, if somebody up to White House got shot or killed, you'd know it in a heartbeat. So, in other words, this granny didn't mean much to anybody. Only thing they cared about was her money. Not tell the whole truth. Not tell who made the phone calls. Not tell who was behind the mask. Because they know. And I know people that, know Nancy, even family members and whatnot, will see this. And I should have dated this the first go round because it started spinning, so I had to delete that one, do it again, do it again. I had to do it 3 times. And that's because somebody was trying to get in on us. But the very first words plainly said, "For the death of Nancy, it's a family secret. I know they killed Nancy." You don't just get that. You can't make that up. Damn. And somebody try to shut down because I'm getting the truth out there. Nobody want to hear the damn truth. The truth hurts, even if it is beneficial for you. The truth hurts. Period. Exactly. And I think there were one or two more probably sitting at the end of the drive, around some bushes somewhere or something, or down a road just a little piece or something. You can't come up with that right there and tell me that they didn't try to make it look as a robbery because they did. She admitted, y'all heard it, 100%, she said, took my jewelry. Hey, Spina. It's all right, love. It's all right. I just come on early anyway. She's in there cleaning and carrying on. So I thought, well, hell, I'll come in here and go ahead and we'll figure out what we're going to do tonight and see if we can hear anything else from Nancy. Um, you know, she's told how they hurt her, what they made it look like a robbery for. And then one with the gun, yes, correct, probably a cop. And that first sentence is what gets me. For the death of Nancy, it's a family secret. That's what they try to do. They try to get anything they can and then use it somewhere else. Just twist a few words around. If they can't do it themselves, they need to leave it the hell alone. But I like hearing from the horse's mouth themselves. Let them tell their own story. And yeah, sometimes we'll do like this. Let's do a little update or whatever. But I'm going to show you a photo that I took just before I clicked uh, start live. Um, Maybe going back to the drawing board. I don't know.
Tell you is this: the nature of that demand on a fully confirmed does not just change the motive in this case, it changes the suspect profile. It changes the timeline. It changes everything investigators think they know about why Nancy Guthrie was targeted.
Then why haven't you told anybody? See, authority will not do nothing. Nothing. Unless they're forced to or told by the commanding officer, you do it or else. Now, if it was one of their children or their grandparent that went missing, shit, they'd want everybody, you know, out west and down south to be on this thing. It don't add up. Yeah, this thing's been planned out for over a year or so. Like I said, some of them, and like Savannah, she can play it off all she wants to, but I know through the daggum grapevine, people can't keep their mouth closed, and she probably never mentioned it to her mama, and that makes her an accessory. Um, Now, how would it be proved that Nancy, uh, Savannah knew about what was going to happen? Well, we're going to find that out tonight because that's going to be my number one question. If she knew anything about it or has ever mentioned it. And I guarantee you, she'll say, yes, she knew about it, but she never mentioned it. And when she does, I pray to God that somebody will interrogate that woman. She's never been in trouble. She thinks she's going in the slammer. And if she tells what she's heard in the past, even though she wasn't part of it, she wasn't, there, it don't matter. She's still accessory. They'll say, well, why didn't you report it? And that's when everything's going to hit the fan. And then she's the type person, she's this girly girl bunch of junk, and she's going to be a tattletale. She's going to sing like a robin and tell off who did it and what they did, what they took, and everything else. She knows. Other people in the family know. Man, it from what we've got here, should have been one of the easiest cases to snatch somebody up for the cause of her disappearance and the death of Nancy Guthrie.
Part 2 is coming, and when it does, you will understand exactly why we held back today. January 31st, 2026. Nancy has dinner with family. Her son-in-law drops her home at 9:45 p.m. She goes inside. He drives away.
Stupid junk again. There you go. Okay. At if they can tell this, now this is just straight up raw talking. If they can tell this, that the son-in-law dropped her off at 9:45 and watched her go in the house.
7 a.m., her Google Nest doorbell camera goes offline. Not a glitch, not a power.
11 o'clock. Notification.
Cut. Deliberately disconnected. 2:28 a.m. Her pacemaker app. 26. That is the last time anyone in her family sees her. Now the clock starts. 1:47 a.m. Her Google Nest doorbell camera goes offline. Not a glitch, not a power cut. Deliberately disconnected. 2:28 a.m. Her pacemaker app, which auto-syncs with her iPhone, sends its final signal. 41 minutes. That is the window. 41 minutes in which Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home. No neighbor heard anything. No alarm went off. No. Oh, 911 call that night. The street was perfectly quiet. But here's what you need to connect right now. She had received that call. She was shaken. She knew something was wrong, and she was alone in that house at 1:47. In the morning when the camera went dark. Why did she not tell anyone about that call? Was she protecting someone? Was she threatened into silence? Or did she simply not believe it would actually come to this? We don't.
What did I just say? What did I just say? I'm serious. I'm serious, guys. What did I just get through dadgum saying? They knew about it. They knew when they wanted to do it. They didn't, none of them offered to give her any type heads up. They knew it way ahead of time and did not offer anything, knowing that this could be a real thing. Now that it's happened, they're all scared to death, and Savannah acting all goody goody and smiling and crying and whatnot, but with no tears. They all knew this setup. If she was scared to death from a phone call, that nobody would tell us what the phone call was about. At 9:45, dropped her off. He was the son-in-law last seen her. 11 o'clock, cut notifications, didn't get nothing. That's when the other camera picked up uh, the two that come in the front. Within within the 45-minute range of her being taken from her home. That started at 11 o'clock, they claim. Within 45 minutes from the time she got a phone call, 45 minutes was taken from her home and scared at 1:47. So someone was there a little more than 45 minutes because they did some cleanup. Hey, Kathy. Hey, baby, good.
We don't have that answer yet, but we are close. Now let's talk about the man who came to her door, because this is where our investigation connects directly to that phone call. On February 10th, FBI Director Kash Patel released black and white doorbell footage recovered from deleted back-end data. A masked figure, armed, gloved, 25-liter black Ozark trail backpack, methodically covering the camera lens with a...
I'm going to let this be said again. So,
we are getting some... But here's what you need to connect right now. She had received that... A camera goes offline. Not a glitch, not a power cut. Deliberately disconnected. 2:28 a.m., her pacemaker app, which auto-syncs with her iPhone, changes everything investigators think they know about why Nancy Guthrie was targeted. Part 2 is coming, and when it does, you will understand exactly why we held back today. January 31st, 2026. Nancy has dinner with family. Her son-in-law drops her home at 9:45 p.m. She goes inside. He drives away. Now, that is the last time anyone in her family sees her. Now the clock starts. 1:47 a.m. Her Google Nest doorbell camera goes offline. Not a glitch, not a power cut. Deliberately disconnected. 2:28 a.m. Her pacemaker app, which auto-syncs with her iPhone, sends its final signal. 41 minutes. That is the window. 41 minutes in which Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home. No neighbor heard anything. No alarm went off. No 911 call that night. The street was perfectly quiet. But here's what you need to connect right now. She had received that call. She was shaken. She knew something was wrong, and she was alone in that house at one.
So she had a threatening call. But how do we know? How would FBI know? Because apparently they don't know. Because they're not saying, hey, we got our info pulled from the city or state, county, whatever, police, and here's what we got. That's where the gaps are coming in from. Now, I'm telling you, an elderly lady living like that on her own, she gets a threatening call or just a casual one with some weird questions like, is anybody there with you? What are you doing tonight? Kind of deal. She's not going to put her pajamas on and just go lay in the bed. She's going to be nervous as hell. She's going to call the police. Say, look, I just had a weird phone call. She's not going to go put her PJs on and sit and listen to TV. The woman would be hysterical. She wouldn't know what to do. I have no idea. They won't release it. You see. So again, every daggum time, we have to let the deceased tell their own story. So from uh, 11 down here to 147, and well, sometime in between that point in time, about 41 minutes in, she gets this call, supposedly. Okay. At 147, she's scared to death. Then they hear no more. Nothing. No traffic on the road. No nothing.
47 in the morning when the camera went dark. Why did she not tell anyone about that call? Was she protecting someone? Was she threatened into silence? Or did she simply not believe it would actually come to this?
Her son.
We don't have that answer yet, but we are close. Now let's talk about the man who came to her door, because this is where our investigation connects directly to that phone call. On February 10th, FBI Director Kash Patel released black and white doorbell footage recovered from deleted back-end data. A masked figure.
And listen about these gloves right here. Listen.
Armed, gloved, 25-liter black Ozark Trail backpack. Black and white doorbell footage recovered from deleted back-end data. A masked figure, armed, gloved, 25-liter black.
That is the type glove that you get from the pro shops specifically for anyone in authority. Even nowadays, you walk in a courthouse, you got to walk through a metal detector. The gloves they wear are the same thing.
Ozark Trail backpack, methodically covering the camera lens with a piece of a potted plant. He knew exactly where the camera was. He had clearly been.
Done been there. Shocking. Damn.
Much is what it gave me, and that last part is confirmed. Sources familiar with the investigation told ABC News and CBS News that the suspect had visited Nancy's door on a separate day. Before.
How would they know if the suspect knocked on her door over the next couple of days? How would they know that would be the suspect? If they do know that that's a suspect, why is he not in a jailhouse? Why is he not getting interrogated? Why is he still walking the street? Why would they have let this happen twice? I tell you why, because they were trying to find out. They may not could have seen in the garage if she had a garage to where one of her vehicles was there. That's I was trying to act it again. Hang on, guys. Let it. All right. They can't give me this BS. No. And you're right. It did come back with some help.
For the night of the abduction. No backpack that time, just.
How'd they know if it would have been in that time when somebody kidnapped her? How'd they know that it wasn't early morning? You see them gaps? What time does it start getting dark around here now? What, let's see. 4:30, 5 o'clock? Okay. Well, that's still not what I would consider bedtime. So how do they know? How do they know? Now, really think of this. I'm going to say it as clear as I know how, guys. How do they know that Miss Guthrie was taken out of her home that specific time and night? Then again, there were cameras on top of the home that at first they didn't know if they could get any footage off of it or not because they think it had been cut. But unfortunately, none of the wires were cut until the day after. So why in the hell would they not know who took her out of the home? She would have had to be carried, and he sure as hell didn't do it by himself. You see what I'm talking about? And the gap distance, 9:45, 11 o'clock, um, the following day. Lines get cut. There's 41 minute gap. Taken from 41 minute to 45 minute. So that gives them 5 minutes to yank her up, get her out of the house. Why can't FBI or state police tell us how they know if it was nighttime when they took her out of the home or daytime? Because if they've got that much information, they know who the hell got her. Shit. I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday.
Watching, just studying. This man had been planning this for weeks. So here is the connection our investigation is asking. If someone was already watching Nancy, already...
What did we just say? What did we just say? Somebody is surveillancing her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When I say when people's getting paid off for this, that can be 24-hour a day work, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour, 8-hour, whatever. Swap out, swap out, swap out. That's why I said sheriff, deputy, undersheriff, whatever. This was a paid off deal because they thought that they would get a good lump sum from inside the home. That's why they took her jewelry. And they went about it totally stupid if they was trying to do ransom. Left 3 ransom notes. And like somebody in that daggone family don't know how he or she writes. Hell. Savannah is not a little angel, let me tell you.
Mapping her home, already knew her camera location, already knew her routine. Is it possible that...
What did we say? What did we say? They watch her. They know when she come in the house, when she goes to put her PJs on, when she goes to the bathroom, when she comes to wash her hands in the kitchen, whenever she makes her sandwich or something, whenever she comes to sit down and watch TV or whatever, or go, down the porch, maybe read a book or something. If she would have been scared from a phone call, I don't think she would have did any of that. This time gap right here, this happened quick, and they carried her out of the home. But they didn't think that the cameras were working. And they may not have been, but still had caught some info and just had to be rebooted back up. They have them sort of things. You can try to delete anything permanent off your phone all you want to, but they're still going to pull it up. They'll get it. So why hasn't anybody said, okay, they took her from the home, they knocked her down, probably knocked her out, okay, hurt her arm, hurt her ankle, probably broken, she said. Okay, that would be either need somebody to help carry, or dragged. What did they say about down there to the pond? It looked like somebody got drugged down to the pond. And I'm going to show you that still standing too.
Call was part of the plan, a test, a warning,
Hey,
a way
Cat
to
Black.
see how she would react, whether she would call the police.
Honey, this is Cat. I hope you like my content. And if you do, hon, please subscribe and give us a like button. I try to get proof from the horse's mouth herself. Let them tell their own story. If you've been here for a minute, you've watched in the background or whatnot, you'll see we got some good homemade family people right here in this chat that you won't find anywhere else on social media. And all you got to do is sub up, hit the like button, and hell, you can even send in a photo and get on the fan wall. Okay, so right there, I can tell.
Whether she would tell her.
With us, we ain't nothing but bunch of nut jobs. We try to cut up much as we can till it's time to be serious. Case, how many times? Now it's trying to spin again. Quit that junk. Okay, what did I say? Yeah, uh, you know, the phone call was a decoy just to make sure, probably because they hadn't had shift change hadn't come through. Wanted to know if she was by herself or whatever. Maybe saying like I said a while ago, you got company. What y'all doing? What you doing? Uh, and then maybe ask some weird questions, and it freaks her the hell out.
Southern fried chicken or shrimp? Why not both? Who's got the sauce? Zaxby's.
I mean, what's the point? If you're driving a $55,000 car and you...
We are getting... Nest doorbell camera goes... FBI Director Kash Patel released black and white doorbell footage recovered from deleted back-end data. A masked figure, armed, gloved, 25-liter black Ozark trail backpack, methodically covering the camera lens with a piece of a potted plant. Just studying, this man had been familiar with the investigation, told Ozark trail backpack. Methodically covering the camera lens with a piece of a potted plant. He knew exactly where the camera was. He had clearly been there before.
Welcome.
Mox says what it means, and that last part is confirmed. Sources from...
And guys, y'all bear with me for just a minute. I want to explain something. I know she's been in the background watching. I'm pretty sure this ain't her first time. I just want to let you know that my channel is not all about only paranormal, which now I say 93% is, but it's also, it's John Southern Vlogs, and the screen will say Paranormal Adventures, but we do family vlogs, daily vlogs, we do challenges, some of the stupidest junk you ever seen in your life. We do drawings, we do giveaways, we do all kinds of things that's fun for everybody. So if you subscribe, you'll be amongst some of the best people that you'll ever find right here at JSV. And it would be highly appreciated because somebody jumped off last night. I forgot to tell y'all about that. So it went down to 2,377. Because So if she subscribes, then it'll be back 2,638 and would greatly be appreciated, love.
Familiar with the investigation, told ABC News and CBS News that the suspect had visited Nancy's door on a separate day before the night of the abduction. No backpack that time, just watching, just studying. This man had been planning this for weeks. So here is the connection our investigation is asking.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you hear that? Been to the door a couple of times before that night. Wasn't wearing a backpack, you know, wasn't hid up with a mask. Okay, tell who that person was. I mean, what the hell? If he comes to the door before the night that he actually did this, they would have had him on door cam footage. There's some stuff that they're not telling because some people are paid off, and the people that got paid off is probably people saying, "Look, you open your mouth, look, they'll probably find you in the river tomorrow." That's just the way it works. This is a setup. This has been planned out for a very long time. And yes, it's ended. And they thought they would get one big lump sum. Probably thought her safe or something or other. Probably had good chunk of money in it. Jewelry, which done admitted that they stole her jewelry 100%. You know, that pissed her off. Don't blame her.
If someone was already watching Nancy, already mapping her home, already knew her camera location, already knew her routine, is it possible that call was part of the plan, a test, a warning, a way to see how she would react, whether she would call the police, whether she would tell her family, whether she would be a problem? She did none of those things. She stayed silent. And that
Or did she? If she was so close to Savannah, which we knew she was, because the only photos you're going to see is just her and Savannah. If she felt a little off about something, don't you think she would contact the person that she's the closest with and say, "Look, I just had a weird phone call. Okay, I'm here by myself. You know, could you come over or something?" I mean, that's what's going to be running through somebody's mind. And then try to tell us or won't tell us who they seen on cam. That right there 100% tells you this was a paid situation. Family oriented, and they're keeping it a secret. For the death of Nancy, it is a family secret. I know they killed Nancy.
silence may have told her abductor exactly what he needed to know. Here is what law enforcement has confirmed publicly. Blood on the front porch, confirmed as Nancy's by DNA. A glove found 2 miles from the home. DNA.
Okay, she done admitted that. She got knocked down. She hit her head on the floor. All right, she hurt her arm. Okay, they said they hit her in the face. Not counting that would probably bust her lips up. Hitting her head, bloody nose from getting punched or whatnot. Um, drag marks. I mean, come on.
From an unknown male. No match in the FBI's now.
But no matchup from that male blood. Ain't that something? Ain't that a coincidence? Because it's already been paid up to keep quiet. They did do some thorough cleaning. But like I said, they didn't get it all. and his blood was found. Now, people's getting threatened all around that area. They say anything. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
National CODIS database, 10,000 hours of surveillance footage currently being reviewed by federal agents, 19,000 tips received from the public. A neighbor's Ring camera captured 12 vehicles passing through the neighborhood between midnight and 6 a.m. on February 1st, some of that activity happening around 2:30 a.m., the exact moment Nancy's pacemaker went silent. And yet,
come find out, I did Google it. And I really didn't know this at the time. And y'all really take this serious, what I'm going to say, because if every one of you ever have to have a pacemaker put in, if you've never listened to me before, listen to me now, please. If you have one put in, do not get nowhere near an air conditioner. Do not get near a microwave. Stay away from electronics. Okay. Number 2, when your heart works so hard because you're scared and you're pumping, they're not made to take that much in, these makers. And it will cause you to go in a fib. So please, if anybody has to have one, stay away from all electronics. Don't get overstressed because it will pump too much blood through it and it will stop.
no suspect named, no arrest made. To no motive officially confirmed.
Well, how in the hell did you get him and her in there to do a interrogation? Well, you don't have to be under arrest for that, but still, they bet 4 or 5 people know about all this, and 2 is the one that did it, but the others will still be accessory to murder.
But CNN's chief law enforcement analyst John Miller said it clearly. This is nowhere near a cold case. There is DNA being processed. There are leads being followed. There is science that has not come back yet. And there is information, art that has not been made public. Information like what was said on that call. While investigators work in the background, Savannah Guthrie has been living this nightmare in front of the entire world.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
She stepped away from the Today Show. She stepped back from the 2026 Winter Olympics coverage.
Yeah, and sitting there whining, you zoom in that picture and you'll never see a teardrop. She'll sit there, with a paper towel. That makes me sick.
Has posted video after video, tearful, desperate, raw.
Oh,
She
yeah.
acknowledged the unthinkable, Mona, and shunned that her mother may already be gone.
The only reason her eyes would even water is if she kept them open long enough to make them start dripping. Or if she thinks that the obvious is fixing to get caught. That all of them are involved, that they did know about it, and it's going to make accessory to murder.
While refusing to give up hope. On February 24th, the family announced a $1 million reward, payable anonymously in cash. 1,500 new tips came in days, and still, Nancy has not been found. What? Now think about this. If Savannah knew about that call, what would she say? If she knew her mother had received a warning, had been frightened, and had said nothing, how does a daughter process that? That question has no easy answer. And that is exactly why this call is the missing piece nobody is talking about. Let me bring it all together. Nancy Guthrie was not a random target. A man cased her home multiple times. He knew her camera, he knew her schedule. He came prepared with a mask, needed gloves, a weapon, and a very specific plan. The ransom notes went to the media, not the family. 2 deadlines passed. Communications went completely silent. The FBI has 10,000 hours of footage and 19,000 tips, and still no named suspect. Something about this case does not add up, and at the center of all of it was a phone call. A call that shook a woman who was never easily shaken. A call she told no one about. Doctor, a call that, according to our investigation, may have contained a demand that changes this entire case. What was that demand? We are not done investigating, but part 2 is coming, and when it drops, we are going to connect every single dot. The call, the masked man, the motive, the one detail the FBI has not released publicly. Subscribe right now because...
And they're not ever going to put it out to the public for a
porch
for
before
a
the
long time
FBI,
coming.
before the...
Let me show y'all this picture. You know, they were speaking about it on the Spirit Box the other day. I don't remember what day it was, but y'all more than welcome to go back and watch it and listen to it. And this here is the photo. Let's see if I can pick the best one. Greed, sex, money, and drugs. People just want more and more and more. This lady just purchased them a new home, but wanted more because the daughter was so jealous of Savannah. And anybody that thinks different, that they can't realize that the sister was jealous of Savannah, and that is what caused the chaos in the family. If they can't see that, they're dumber than dirt. I mean, like I said, it sticks out like a sore thumb. What? All right. For the death of Nancy, family secret. I know they killed Nancy. I was robbed for my money. Got knocked down. Hurt my arm. Ankle probably broken. One with a gun. Yes, correct. Probably a police officer. I put cop. At 9:45, dropped off. He was to go in the house. And that was his son-in-law. At 11, things started getting cut, wires and whatnot. So between 9:45 and 11, which that's just 15 to 10, right there is a gap, air gap that they could have been trying to clean everything up. And you did hear you did hear. At first, they said that they were, it was Nancy's blood. But then, after a few minutes, they said that it was an unidentified blood that was found, that it has not been returned yet. Uh, so, within 45 minutes of everything was taken from the home, and 147 had a phone call that she was scared to death, and she would have called and reported to somebody, if not even just Savannah. But by that time, which that is not leading up, it would have had to be somebody use her phone. And they're not talking about the two guys that were seen on camera 2 days before, and one of them walk up and peck on the door. Not wearing a hood, not wearing a mask, knocked on the door. And then the night that it took place, called and probably said, hey, what you doing? Have you got company or whatnot? If not, hey, what's going on? They knew. They knew. So I titled this The Truth Behind Nancy Guthrie. And the truth lies within the family secret. I'm going to cut here, guys. I thank each and every one of you for being here. Miss Cat Black, if you don't care, please give me a subscribe and a like. Share these videos and live shows here with your friends and family, or on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you got. We'd like to have you to be a part of JSV, Cat Black. We'll see y'all again later on tonight. I don't know exactly what time, but just keep it on your devices. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you after a while.